And she's been a part of so many films that I love growing up. It's like, again, I'm in a very privileged position to have a mentor like her.
Dave Filoni might be a nice man. Many like him. But he continues to oversee the worst Star Wars in history. Yes, worse than the Ewok Adventures. And unless he planned a takeover worthy of Palpatine, he sold out. I know I'm late to the party, but I wanted time to consider the news and reach a conclusion. Welcome to Galactic Initiative. I'm your host, Jeff. A few weeks ago, Vanity Fair hailed Filoni as Lucasfilm's new chief creative officer. Most don't realize Filoni has been the studio's creative director since 2020. So, officer or director?
Identical.
The guy's been Kathleen Kennedy's submissive for at least 3 years. Remember Jon Favreau, creator of The Mandalorian? Along with Tony Gilroy, Favreau has been the only competent, knowledgeable showrunner employed by Kennedy. Well, Favreau disappeared faster than Luke Skywalker in a J.J. Abrams film. For The Book of Boba Fett and Mando Season 3, did Kennedy and Filoni ruin Favreau's scripts and hide their sabotage behind Favreau's writing credits? Did Favreau approve the Vespa Gang, New Republic Lobotomy, Regurgitated Child, and Lizzo cameo? I have doubts. You've encountered videos of Kennedy lauding Filoni while repeating his name to the level of comedy.
Dave.
These days, I can't tell where she ends and he begins. Is she referencing herself in the third person every time she says Dave? According to Filoni, as he fails upward, he'll be helping people to tell their best stories from the inception phase. Now, Kennedy can position Filoni as a meat shield against the hail of criticism for all Lucasfilm's duds. To substantially increase his earnings and decision-making power, Filoni embraced this role of useful idiot. He'd rather rule in hell than serve in heaven, I guess. Following his arrival at Lucasfilm in 2005, love-hate describes my relationships with his projects. Early on, more love than hate. Overall, I appreciated the Clone Wars and Rebels, despite some canon-crippling additions like magic, Darth Maul, nanotech disguises, interdimensional travel, and space whales. To be fair, Lucas dictated a few errors. I perceived Filoni as a well-intentioned nerd who, when paired with a good storyteller, could deliver engaging animated cartoons. In recent years, more hate than love. When he developed his own series, he often disregarded the lore, then invoked George Lucas.
This was George's interpretation. George and I discussed this at length. George always said ...
Watch his interviews for evidence. The Clone Wars Season 7, Tales of the Jedi, and The Bad Batch played fast and loose with the canon. Numerous people enjoyed them. I won't argue subjective entertainment value. I will argue objective narrative mistakes. The Martez sisters, Ahsoka's survival of Order 66, Dooku's erasure of Kamino, Baby Ahsoka, Yaddle's execution, Clone Force 99's viability, Omega's existence, Mount Tantus, all problematic. Filoni's other animated series, Resistance, isn't worth anyone's time. It was a dumpster fire in keeping with the sequel trilogy. Filoni's knowledge and consideration of Star Wars mythology was commendable, but when given creative control, he irrevocably vandalized the themes and plots.
Ironic.
Regrettably, Favreau introduced him to live action. Once humble and effective in the shadows of Lucas and Favreau, at present outspoken and destructive in the limelight.
Man's got to know his limitations.
He steals other creators' ideas and bastardizes them. Lord of the Rings, The Chronicles of Narnia, Indiana Jones, The Expanded Universe, a long list of works from genuine creators, pirated and bungled by Filoni, while those ignorant of the classics hail him as a genius. However, the Ahsoka series might have been his Stalingrad. He ignored warning signs, committed too many resources, went on the defensive, and ultimately failed on an epic scale for hubris. His girl bosses flopped harder than LeBron James trying to draw a foul. Filoni's interview with Vanity Fair was intended to mask Ahsoka in the way that Rian Johnson's trilogy announcement was meant to camouflage The Last Jedi. In both cases, note the attempt to distract and confuse. Kennedy has manipulated the trade publications to mitigate her mistakes over the years. Her quid pro quo is studio access for her version of events. Spin doctors at Hollywood Rags happily provide damage control in exchange for exclusive interviews and such. Why did Kennedy promote Filoni, you ask? In short, the answer is ideology. Filoni and his wife, Anne Convery, have shown dogmatic alignment with Kathleen Kennedy, and it has benefited their careers. My mention of his wife is not a mean-spirited jab. She influences his work because she is a writer for Lucasfilm too. This picture is worth 1,000 words. Have I added context for the string of failures? Do you understand South Park's depiction of Kennedy? What should we expect from those employed by Lucasfilm, and, by extension, Disney? Where? Entity politics. Sectarian echo chamber. On a society they don't visit, don't understand, and don't value. Lucas's galaxy is no longer a setting for universal truths. Thus, Kennedy and Filoni are allies. He is a deflector shield for her, and she is a benefactor for him. Dave Filoni will not revitalize Star Wars. I'm not making a prediction, I'm assessing a circumstance using evidence. What have you seen in the past 3 years to support Filoni as a creative director or officer? Some say he hasn't had time to flush the pipeline of inherited waste, that he needs at least 5 years to realize his vision. In response, I present Ahsoka, Filoni's vision unfettered from beginning to end. Some say he doesn't have creative control, that Kennedy will always call the shots. Okay, why accept an empty title? Why ruin your reputation by association? Some say Disney will replace Kennedy with Filoni, that his professed loyalty to her is a ruse. Whether or not the first part is true, Filoni and Kennedy are ideologically aligned. His enlightenment is authentic, and his ascendance won't rectify matters. Yep, I said it. Filoni wouldn't be an improvement over Kennedy. Share your thoughts with a comment. I've watched his productions, listened carefully to his backers, and reached a conclusion. With a strong partner, Filoni can be an asset. With creative control, he can be a menace. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.
Galactic Initiative is not authorized or endorsed by Lucasfilm Limited. The name Star Wars and all related materials are registered trademarks of Lucasfilm Limited, a subsidiary of the Walt Disney Company, by rights reserved. Galactic Initiative is a registered trademark, and other product and company names are trademarks of their respective holders. Use does not imply affiliation or endorsement.